and thank you for joining us on Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I'm Lami Ali. We move to the Supreme Court, where our correspondent Dele Atumbi is standing by to bring us an update on the latest concerning the judgments passed by the Supreme Court that has to do with governorship elections in some states of the Federation. Dele, can you hear me?
Thank you, Lami. I can hear you very well.
All right. Now, you were there right from 8 a.m. in the morning when the proceedings at the Supreme Court started. Now, run us through what transpired at the court today.
Thank you, Lami. And the verdict of the Supreme Court commenced with the two appeals coming from Lagos governorship election. And LP candidates and PDP candidates in the March 28 governorship election filed two petitions. The first one by the LP has to do with the eligibility of the governor of that state. And they argued that the governor, as at the time of this election, was not qualified, and they were challenging his citizenship. The Supreme Court ruled against this and told the appellant that they did not have jurisdiction over the matter, and that was the decision of the court, and it was dismissed. The Supreme Court equally dismissed the matter of PDP as regards Lagos State. So the Supreme Court now upheld the election of the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. That of Bauchi was equally decided. Sadiq Abubakar of the APC came to this court to challenge the victory of Governor Bala Mohammed. And at that level, the Supreme Court ruled that all the matters raised were not issues that can pass through this court at this time, and all the 6 issues raised by the appellant were discharged against the appellant, and they upheld the election of Governor Bala Mohammed as the duly elected governor of Bauchi State. For Kano has always been an interesting matter. For instance, the issue of the cancelled ballot papers regarding 165,616 votes. And the Supreme Court at this point reinstated that vote and said that the tribunal had no power to have dabbled into that matter. And it now reversed the decision of both the tribunal and that of the Court of Appeal. That is, it pronounced Governor Abba Abba Yusuf as the governor of Kano State. For Zamfara, the issue of Zamfara equally came up, and it was the governor himself that was the appellant in this matter, because the Court of Appeal really ruled against him and nullified his election. And as at the time I'm talking to you, the Supreme Court said that those issues raised were not issues that the Court of Appeal could dabble into, and that the court lacks jurisdiction. And that of Zamfara matter was decided and upheld the election of Governor Dauda Lawa of Zamfara State. For Ebonyi State, that of Ebonyi was decided, and it upheld the election of the Ebonyi State governor. The Plateau, you will recall that the Court of Appeal nullified the election of the governor of Plateau State, and Supreme Court upheld his election and made the governor, returned the governor, and said that most of the issues that they were raising were pre-election matters, that the Court of Appeal did not even have jurisdiction on in issue. So it was decided that the decision of the Court of Appeal was wrong, and it was reversed, and the governor was returned as the governor of Plateau State. The issue of Cross River and Abia were decided in support of the two governors of those states. And those were the issues that were raised today from the Supreme Court. All the 8 cases have been decided by the Justice Okoro Iyang led 5-man panel.
Thank you very much, Dele, for that update. We thank you most sincerely.
Thank you, Lami.
All right, away from election cases, Nigeria, with the support of World Bank and other. All right, we're still not done with the court matters. We are going to go straight to our correspondent in Kano, that is Abdullahi Mustafa, to give us a situation report on the outcome of the Supreme Court judgment which affirms Abba Kabir Yusuf of the New Nigeria People's Party as the duly elected governor of Kano State. Abdullahi, how are you?
I'm fine, Lami.
All right, so tell us the mood in Kano following the...
standing now at Miller Road.
Go ahead.
Okay, we are now at Miller Road here in Bompai, Kano, where since the announcement or declaration of Abba Kabir Yusuf by the Supreme Court as duly elected of Kano State May 18 elections, all streets from the state turned to celebration mode, and this place, Miller Road, has been so busy with women and youth who are coming to celebrate the victory of the governor, who is now in Abuja. Although he's not in the city, but people have been celebrating using motor vehicles, tricycles, and of course motorcycles, and others playing music and dancing at many points. But at this particular point, you can see at the background how some of them are playing with tricycles, motorcycles, and even some cars. And just before you calling us, there are even some nationals of residents in Kano, including the Lebanese community and others. They all celebrated here. They joined in the celebration. So actually, Kano is peaceful, although without the usual hustle of bustle in the commercial city, but the activities have been taken over by the celebration.
We're also now going to join our correspondent Caleb Gochin in our Jos Network Center from that is Plateau State. Caleb, now today the Supreme Court also affirmed your namesake, that is Caleb Mutfwang, as the duly elected governor of Plateau State. He is of the PDP. Tell us the mood in Jos right now.
I'm telling you, Lami, honestly, as you can see, the place is, we're at the PDP secretariat, actually, in the heart of the town. And the very few of the supporters are here, and everywhere is agog with excitement. But I tell you, just like we said earlier on, everything is being done peacefully. We've gone round and we've seen all the communities, celebrations are ongoing, but everything is being done in peace. Although the major players are still in Abuja, they are being expected, and I tell you, the people are ready to continue with the celebrations as if the principals come back from Abuja. But this is the party secretariat, and the people are here to register their excitement over what has happened. The affirmation of Caleb Mutfwang as the governor has come. It's really a thing of joy for the party, especially because Caleb Mutfwang is of the PDP. And as we said, it is a victory for the people of Plateau State. So the mood is calm, the mood is excited for, yes, for the party loyalists. They are really celebrating.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Caleb, for that update from Jos. That was our correspondent, Caleb Guchin, speaking to us from the PDP Secretariat in Jos. Now, Nigeria, with the support of World Bank and other development partners, is sustaining commitments towards completion of transmission lines to address electricity supply and demand imbalance in some ECOWAS member countries. Joshua Ojito reports that the project is expected to be completed in 2025.
880 kilometers of 330 kV and 33 kilometers of 225 kV transmission lines are being constructed from Nigeria to Niger, Benue, Togo, and Burkina Faso. Also being constructed are 5 substations along the lines.
The NotCo project's primary objective goes beyond infrastructure. It aims to catalyze efficient energy trade, encourage commercial exchange agreements, and bring electricity access to communities along the transmission line. This project is the lifeline that will interconnect the destinies of our respective countries.
But there is delay in the completion of the project, which started in 2019, and insecurity is identified as a major challenge. Member states meet again in Abuja to adopt measures and review progress made by the National Security Coordination Committee.
We have to put in place some strategies to be able to continue the project. Surely we will not be able to conclude it in the 2 years, but we hope to make it before 3 years. That is, rather than concluding it in 2024, I think we may be able to finish it by 2025.
The North Core Power Project is being funded by Nigeria, the World Bank, African Development Bank, and French agency. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Now, Taraba State government has pledged to address some of the operational challenges confronting NTA Jalingo to enable it to serve the people of the state better. The Deputy Governor of Taraba State, Abdullahi Aminu Al-Ali, said this while on assessment visit to the station as directed by the state governor. Correspondent Adu Adamu also completes the reports.
Deputy Governor Aminu Abdullahi Al-Kali, who was on assessment visit to NTA Jalingo, has expressed concern on the working environment, which he said is unconducive, and the state government will urgently assist the station to maximize its potentials. The contribution of the station toward public enlightenment and nation building, he said, is unquantifiable.
We're going to do our best to ensure that this place is renovated and updated to the standard at least that is expected of the organization to operate.
Acting General Manager NTA Jalingo, Nihad Isa Umar, who took the Deputy Governor round the operational areas of the station, informed him that the office complex was affected by windstorm years back, a situation which compounded the challenges confronting the station.
NTA need perimeter fence and renovation of the entire building. The station presently has no operational vehicle for its daily operation, making it difficult for us to cover the entire state. The only functional vehicle in our station was gutted by fire on the 4th November 2023.
The Deputy Governor was received on arrival by members of the NTA Jalingo management team. In Jalingo, Ado Ademwalso, NTA News.
Now, the latest report from the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, highlights trends in the cost of living, with Kogi, Lagos, and River States experiencing the highest all-time inflation rates. According to the November Consumer Price Index, Kogi leads with 33.28%, followed by Lagos at 32.30% and Rivers at 32.25% on a year-on-year basis. Despite being surrounded by 9 states, including the Federal Capital Territory, Kogi, with its economic potential, faces a challenging economic landscape. Solomon Aidane tells us more in this report.
Situated centrally in Nigeria's north, Kogi State shares borders with 9 states, and its close proximity to the nation's capital led many to anticipate economic growth and development. However, reality presents a contrast. Compounding the issue is the report from the National Bureau of Statistics, which designates Kogi State as the most expensive state in Nigeria concerning the inflation rate and the cost of living.
Trying to get foodstuff to go to school is extra hard. With the sum of 30,000 naira, what you buy to school can even take you up to like 2 months. You have to be managing foodstuff to be able to survive.
Like I've stayed in Nasarawa State before, and the cost of livelihood there, survival, everything, I think is much more preferable to that of Kogi State.
Cost of living in Kogi State is high. It's very high. You cannot go to the market with 10,000 naira and come back with tangible thing.
The statistics prompt experts to advocate concerted efforts to reverse this trend in the best interest of the state's populace.
If the government can come in and provide enabling environment for production, the major issue is production. When you don't produce, you pay for all the bills that aligns with production. Like for instance, the human capital, the haulage, the vehicles that will bring in all those products for you to consume. Unless you are producing, if not, you pay for all those services.
These expectations for growth are fueled by the abundance of human and natural resources in Kogi State. In Lokoja, Solomon Ayedehin, NTA News.
Let's now join our correspondent, Solomon Ayedehin, who is somewhere around the Pata market in Lokoja, to share his thoughts and insights from a journalist's perspective on the reasons behind the trend and potential solutions to navigate the recent economic difficulties. Hello, Solomon. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Now, Kogi State...
Welcome to Pata Market in Lokoja, the Kogi State capital. If I tell you the prices of goods in this market is mind-boggling, and that's the reality in Kogi State. Generally speaking, the removal of fuel subsidy and the unification of the exchange rate by the current administration has been attributed to the high inflation rate across the country and also the high cost of living. But in Kogi State, we have peculiarities. The first is that Kogi State is bordered by 9 states, including FCT. And instead of the state to leverage on this opportunity, you discover that it's only provide market opportunities for other states to thrive in Kogi State. Remember that we have the confluence of rivers Niger and Benue, but it will be surprising for you to know that fishes that majority of the people of Kogi State sell and buy comes from Lagos, Oyo State, and even Kwara State, despite the fact that we have the abundance of water. So the problem here is that there are less production activities in Kogi State. Also, our rural farmers, they don't have enough, there are no good roads for them to bring their goods and services into the town. So the road infrastructure is another factor that makes the cost of living high in Kogi State. And people are advocating that government should do more in ensuring that the infrastructure of road is met. And besides, working transport system is also not available. They are saying that government should do more to establish transport system that will facilitate the movement of goods and services from the rural areas into the city center. People generally also, they are not patriotic. You discover that houses that were built several years back, landlords are charging as much as 250,000 naira for a 2-bedroom flat. And it's very, very high for people, for a civil service state like Kogi State. People are, the majority of the civil servants are, they don't have any business other than earning salary on monthly basis. And all these joined together compound the cost of living in Kogi State.
Thank you very much, Solomon. Now, people may be interested or would want to hear. Most likely it's because of the closeness of Kogi to the Federal Capital Territory. That is why people, residents in that state, are facing such economic difficulties. But we'll see what happens as the months pass by. We're in 2024. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us. We now join Adeola in Lagos for continuation of nationwide. Thank you, Solomon.
And thank you, Lami, for joining us in Lagos. The military is one of the greatest assets a country can boast of, and in or out of service, the officers can add value to strengthening the architecture if given the opportunity. Larry Bilei engaged some top brass in Lagos, and they called for more synergy, encouraging officers and men to always put Nigeria first in all their dealings.
The Nigerian Army has always maintained its combat-ready status at all times. This is evident in constant training and retraining of officers on the latest military strategies, acquiring of latest defensive and offensive equipments, various joint task force and singular asymmetrical operations being embarked upon by the Army.
With this, it is expected that the Army should change their tactics and concentrate more on intelligence, and that's what they've been doing.
All these activities are hinged on adequate finance, which is crucial to successful operations, a duty of the Nigerian Army Finance Corps.
Finance goes a very long way in meeting the needs of the personnel and their families, in providing the necessary equipment for the fighting troops, and it's always a big morale booster when troops allowances and salaries are paid promptly, which so far the Nigerian government has sustained over the years.
The Nigerian Army Finance Corps pledged to continue carrying out its responsibilities in the overall interest of transforming the nation's army into a well-equipped, trained, and well-motivated force. Meanwhile, 9 generals were pulled out of the Nigerian Army Finance Corps with a pledge to continue to support the federal government in its security goals. In Lagos, Larry Bilei, NTA News.
Now let's talk capital market. The winning streak sustained by the Nigeria capital market in 2024, analysts say, is a continuation of huge success recorded in 2023, which had Nigeria Exchange Group hit a new all-time high, making 2023 the 9th most successful year in the 39th year history of the market.
The final day of trading on the floor of the
for the break-in transmission in that report. Nationwide will continue with Charles Abba in Makurdi after this break. Please stay with us.
That you could stay, and a warm welcome to Makurdi. Benue State Government is to establish the Benue Public Service Institute for the training of state civil servants to enhance their capabilities and boost productivity. Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Teso Kula, who said this at the end of the State Executive Council meeting, pointed out that modalities are being put in place for the construction of 2 overhead bridges at Wurukum and high-level roundabouts. Elias Etiaf has more.
Briefing newsmen at the end of the State Executive Council, as well as the Governor's meeting with chairmen of the 23 local government areas, Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Teso Kula, said the Council approved for the establishment of the Benue Public Service Institute for training of all categories of civil servants in the state. Equally approved is the construction of 2 overhead bridges at Wurukum and high-level roundabouts.
Council also appreciated the Vice President Kashim Shetima for visiting the state. He made very sensitive pronouncements that they're going to keep to them. And so we have seen that as a floodgate of good things to begin to come to Benue.
Equally approved is the restructuring of 8 ministries to read as Ministries of Communication and Digital Economy, Works, Housing and Urban Development, Communication and Digital Economy, Cooperatives and Rural Development, and that of Power and Renewable Energy. Others are Ministries of Science, Technology and Innovation, Agriculture and Food Security, and that of Industries, trade and investment.
The Council agreed that one rural route, prominent one, should be done in Zone A. Another should be done in Zone B. And another should be done in Zone C.
The Chief Press Secretary also said the governor has directed that all local government chairmen should stay in their respective council headquarters to relate with the people and be abreast with security issues in Makurdi. Elias, HF.
Meanwhile, the National Population Commission, Benue State, has reiterated its commitment in championing data-driven development and advocated improved healthcare service delivery. This was made known by the Federal Commissioner of the Commission, Mrs. Patricia Kupchi, in a press briefing to officially start the Nigeria Demographic Health Survey in Benue State. Grace Anyalewa reports that the Federal Commissioner was represented by the MPC State Director, Christopher Taku Nege.
The National Population Commission is bestowed with the responsibility to conduct census in the country. The Commission is also mandated to carry out Demographic and Health Survey, also known as Nigerian Demographic and Health Survey, NDHS, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Health and support from stakeholders in the health sector. In Benue State, the NDHS exercise has commenced in 19 local government areas from 2023, and it is expected to end in April 2024.
For over 3 decades, the National Population Commission, in collaboration with key partners, has diligently implemented the NDHS, consistently raising the bar for demographic and health data collection in Nigeria. As we launch this survey in Benue State, we reiterate our commitment to upholding the same high standards of excellence and precision that have defined the Nigeria Demographic Health Survey over the years.
There was an interactive session where journalists and heads of media organizations, including the Zonal Director, NTA Network Center, Makurdi, Pamdu Nyam, asked questions on some issues for clarity. In Makurdi, Grace Anyalewa, Ichekpa, NTA News.
That report on National Population Commission rounds off our contribution from Makurdi. Lami, is back to you.
Thank you, Charles. Now, President Bola Tinubu, serving in retired military personnel, joined other Muslim faithfuls at the Abuja National Mosque to pray for the repose of the souls of those who lost their lives defending the territorial integrity of the country and for Allah's continued victory for those in active service. Religious correspondent Abdullahi Ajia reports that the Imam, Professor Ibrahim Makari, in his sermon, enjoins worshippers to remain steadfast in the fear of Allah and act of patriotism at all times.
The Imam of the Abuja National Mosque, Professor Ibrahim Makari, in his sermon to the congregation, draws the attention of worshippers on the fabrics of social cohesion, peaceful coexistence, and social justice, which the cleric maintains are parts of religious obligation upon Muslims required to build the nation. He emphasizes the need for obedience to law and order with equality before the law.
How peace and harmony can unveil in the country. What are the measures that, if taken, the peace, inshallah, will continue to prevail in Nigeria.
With President Bola Tinubu, members of the armed forces, and representatives of government in attendance, the Imam led a special dua for Allah's continued benevolence on the Nigerian military, whose sacrifice, he says, is a commitment to security of lives and property, as well as a symbol of unity that citizens enjoy.
The message is how Nigerians should continue to support our gallant armies in their endeavors, because without the support of the citizen, they cannot deliver on their assignment.
I call on Nigerians to continue to support our fallen heroes, to continue to pray and support our armed forces that are in the field, pray doing all that they can to ensure that the security challenges facing our country is dealt with adequately and create an environment of peace for government to be able to deliver all its promises.
The clericant joins the congregation and indeed Nigerians to rededicate themselves to nation building. The special Jumaat prayer is one of the activities lined up to commemorate the 2024 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration. In Abuja, Abdullahi Hajia, NTA News.
Nationwide joins Ladidi in Maiduguri for more stories on Nationwide. Hello, Ladidi.
Lami, you're welcome to Maiduguri. Good to have you join us. Borno State Security Council has held its first meeting this year with special focus on addressing rise in isolated attacks on communities and cases of landmines and other explosives being planted on roads, among other security challenges in the state. Mohamed Goni reports.
The Median Security Council meeting, presided over by Governor Wagana Omar Azilim, with all critical stakeholders in attendance, deliberated on a wide range of issues. Governor Azilim expressed gratitude to all security forces for the sacrifices to restore total peace to Borno State. He assured them of continued support to the counter-insurgency operations and other constitutional mandate of protecting lives and property of the citizenry. Borno State's Commissioner of Information and Internal Security, Professor Usman Tar, briefed journalists on the deliberations of the Council, which include counter-insurgency operations, sporadic attacks of minimal nature, and efforts of security forces to contain them, rise in the use of landmines and explosives on roads, as well as criminality and social biases, with a directive to investigate and prosecute offenders.
They wanted to embarrass government, but our gallant forces were able to preempt them. And for the few attacks that they carried out on vulnerable communities and vital infrastructure, Council conveys deep sympathy to those who were affected. Council called on the good citizens of Borno to maintain calm and to keep their faith in the government of Borno State and also in our security forces.
Other issues discussed also include border security and illegal activities, ban on illegal mining, and curfew time officially put at 11 o'clock for MMC and Jere to be reviewed during Ramadan. In Maiduguri, Mohamed Goni, NTA News.
Borno State Governor Babagana Omar Azilim has met with critical stakeholders in the road transport sector and security chiefs to address issues of overloading by heavy-duty vehicles resulting in accelerating damaging of roads. During the meeting held at Government House, the governor proposes tougher penalties for overloading on roads. Mohamed Goni again reports.
Maiduguri-Gamborungala Road is one of the highways devastated by the overloaded heavy-duty trucks conveying goods to neighboring countries of Chad and Cameroon. With the given scenario on the major road, it will be impossible for motorists to ply the road during rainy season, if not for the approval granted by the federal government for a contractor to commence reconstruction. The meeting with the critical stakeholders in the state's transport sector was to take measures to forestall further damages to roads linking the state with other parts of the country and beyond. Governor Azilim, who noted previous commitment made by the unions to comply with government's directive on the stipulated loss trucks should carry, however, expressed disappointment over the nonchalant attitude of heavy truck drivers. The governor announced that Webill will be installed at 3 different locations along Maiduguri-Gamborungala Road to check the excesses of truck drivers and owners of goods conveyed.
Those people that are carrying lots, either on Togo Road or anywhere to Maiduguri, should also know what is happening. All the road, nobody should exceed 40 tons. Commissioner for Works, ensure that the trailer park is completed before Ramadan.
Other issues raised at the meeting also include revenue generation for the state from the transport sector and a task force to compel compliance with all the directives given. Commissioner for Transport Aliu Buba Lawan assured the governor that his ministry will work with BOTMA, police and other security agencies to implement the governor's directives and call on all to strictly comply with the orders. Other stakeholders and members of all the unions of road transport users and clearing agents also pledged to abide by all the laid down rules to safeguard the roads and ensure revenue generation for the state. In Maiduguri, Mohamed Goni, NTA News.
Benue State government has inaugurated multiple projects executed by the Enugu North local government with a charge on residents to protect government infrastructures. Chika Ugu reports that the projects are in line with the government vision of growing the state economy and reducing poverty.
They want to unveil this road
for service to our people.
The projects inaugurated are 1.3-kilometer road at Afia 9, 200 ultra-modern lock-up shops at Akwata Obeite Main Market, and office complex at Enugu North Council headquarters. Commending the council chairman for the execution of the projects, the deputy governor said the facilities will trigger economic growth and uplift the living conditions of the people. He noted that with such projects, there will be less challenge with the movement of goods and services on major roads.
But what we've seen today speaks to the hard work of the council chairman of Enugu and his team. They've done quite a lot in trying to add value to the lives of the people.
The Enugu North Council chairman explained that the execution of the projects was to complement the state government's efforts in growing the state's GDP and making the state the premier destination for investment.
They have done a lot, so you have to praise him by supporting him with this huge project.
The state government is optimistic that more projects will be inaugurated soon, as it is partnering with the various local government areas to develop the state. In Enugu, Chika Ugu, NTA News.
The impact of brain drain in crucial sectors of the nation's economy is said to have affected the provision of quality healthcare delivery and standard of education in the country. Nigerian Ugu reports that stakeholders are calling for a lasting solution to the problem.
The alarming rate of the departure of Nigerian professionals from the shores of Nigeria to overseas in search of the so-called greener pasture is unprecedented in the annals of Nigeria. The era of austerity measure, which had brain drain as checking out syndrome, did not near the current turbulent wave of Japa, where Nigerian families, both old and young, engineers, scientists, doctors, and other health workers, are living in droves. The impact of brain drain on the country's education and health sectors fell due to the country's economy, as the respondents noted that the loss of tax revenue, lack of qualified teachers, and experts have been detrimental to providing education opportunities to many citizens.
It will get to a place where we can no longer have the critical mass of educated people, intelligent people, talented people to drive our economy.
The health professionals are no longer there. The qualified doctors, they have left. Our hospitals are empty. Those medical doctors and nurses that are still staying, they are staying because they still want to help their people.
Against the backdrop of a better offer and conditions of service abroad, home remains home, and sense of patriotism need to be of utmost priority.
They offer salaries, as incentive. I call it salary as incentive because when you see what our brothers pass through, in the name of working there, you understand that they are equally passing through the same slavery.
The key players, however, advise the government at all levels to create safe environment, tackling insecurity, train Nigerian youths abroad to acquire higher level technical know-how for local production, and raise standard of living so as to reawaken the desire to stay and work for the country. In Enugu, NTA News.
And that's a package from here. Let's now take you back to Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you, Comfort. Now, the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, has reaffirmed its commitment to ensuring the completion of maintenance work on all 36 major federal roads under the Operation Connect Your Destination program of the agency, which is beginning to yield positive results as commuters are beginning to heave a sigh of relief. To ensure the quality of work stands the test of time, the agency's team of engineers, led by its Director of Public Works, Taiwo Koya, inspects the ongoing erosion management work on the critical portion of Mina-Gwada Shiroro Road in Niger State. Fatima Aliyu completes the report.
The 64-kilometer Mina-Gwada Shiroro Federal Road in Niger State is part of the major 36 projects under the Operation Connect Your Destination program of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, aimed at facilitating smooth traffic flow nationwide, particularly during the just concluded Yuletide. The Gwada-Shiroro axis of the road was before now characterized by deep, isolated potholes and heavy failure of culverts due to erosion causing accidents. The 3 culverts abutments washout at Gwada was in a state of dilapidation, prompting FEMA to begin intervention works on the site to ensure its functionality.
It's important that just as we do this, we also make conscious effort also to make sure within the limited available fund also to give attention to those other ones also.
The intervention we're doing here through direct labor approach by the agency is to reinstate, to reclaim the washout.
The work, which is being supervised by the FEMA office in Niger State, is expected to be completed in 1 month's time. Fatima Aliu, NTA News.
Now, 18 years after the successful hosting of the 2006 National Sports Festival, Ogun State is set again to host the 2024 edition of the prestigious Fiesta later in the year. Lekon Agbonde now gives us insight into the preparedness of Ogun State to host the 22nd edition of Nigeria's version of Olympics, the National Sports Festival.
The 2024 National Sports Festival beckons, and Ogun State, as the host of the 15th edition, takes the baton from Delta State, the host of the 21st edition in 2022. Ogun State will welcome thousands of athletes, sports enthusiasts, administrators, and stakeholders from the 36 states and FCT later in December 2024. State government assures of its readiness to host a befitting festival yet again as preparation has commenced in earnest.
The governor inaugurated the local organizing committee, and we've since that time swung into action. 2-3 weeks ago too, we went to some of the camping sites to see what we have there, what we need to put in place.
On their part, athletes have commenced rigorous training to put themselves in shape to compete for medals and bring glory to the state.
As far as sporting history is concerned in Nigeria, the Ogun State is #1, so there is no cause for alarm. Ogun State will not disappoint. The government will not disappoint.
In terms of infrastructure and facility, the state is in better position than she was in 2006, with 4 stadia across the 4 divisions of the state, improved road network, and increased infrastructure for hospitality. There is no doubt that Ogun State has a lot to offer for visitors to relish at the 2024 National Sports Festival later in the year. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
We now join Lekon live at the Jeja Sports Complex in Abeokuta for latest developments as the state prepares to host the National Sports Festival. Hello, Lekon.
Kiro Lami, the action behind me is part of the activities by stakeholders at all levels to ensure that Ogun State did not only host the 2024 National Sports Festival for hosting sake, but ready to compete adequately and also ensure that probably they emerge the winner of the event in 2024. The players and athletes are around this Ijeja Stadium and trying to put 1 or 2 things together in preparation for camping and a selection for the tournament proper. And beyond that, the state government is not only trying to host this tournament, the event, but the governor has clearly declared his intention to use sports as a veritable tools to lure away youths from crime and empower them to take part in the development of the society. And on his part, the governor did very well by ensuring that he put the rank in the rank hole by appointing a seasoned administrator in the person of the former Commissioner for Sports in Ogun State, Bukola Olopade, as the chairman of the local organizing committee. He's joined by some very important personalities, especially those who have made their marks in sporting activities in Ogun State and in Nigeria. People like Falilat Ogukoya, Professor, a lot of them are there in that committee to ensure that Ogun State hosts the tournament properly, and that will be the pride of the nation. Apart from that, the state government also plan to ensure that this tournament played the role that it was the purpose at which it was being organized, in order to ensure that the integrity, the peaceful coexistence, and communication among many communities and diverse communities in Nigeria is ensured. And from Abeokuta at the Ikeja National Stadium, Leko Agbonde, we want to take you back to Lami at the studio. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lekon, for the update. I am sure, going by the level of preparation, is going to be another successful story, that is this year's National Sports Festival. And on that note, we come to the end of Nationwide for today. We thank you for watching. I'm Lami Ali. Have a good evening.